Welcome to today's Explainer. You know, society absolutely loves putting us into neat little boxes, especially when it comes to education. But today, we're exploring a fascinating concept together that completely dismantles how we typically view our educational identities. We are looking at a dynamic that radically redefines how we process information, how we grow, and how we connect with others. Honestly, what if the way we've been looking at classrooms, mentorships, and even our own personal growth is just completely backward? So let me ask you, are you a teacher or are you a learner? If you had to pick just one side of the room to stand on right this second, which one would it be? I mean, most of us instantly gravitate toward one of these labels, right? Maybe you're the seasoned expert in your field, so you immediately say teacher. Or maybe you're always picking up a new hobby or devouring a new book, so you say learner. Okay, let's dive into this, because what we're going to unpack today shatters that categorization completely. The core thesis we're exploring is that you cannot truly be one without being the other. They are entirely inseparable. Let's start with part one, the false divide, and the very real danger of the separation tool. Now, what's really interesting about this idea of the societal separation tool, insisting that someone is solely the giver of knowledge and another is solely the passive receiver, is that it doesn't just fail. It literally causes suffering. It sterilizes the vibrant beauty of growth. Really think about that word for a second, sterilize. It removes the life, the energy, the very essence of what makes human development so incredibly beautiful. It takes something deeply organic and turns it into something mechanical and cold. Section 2. The Traps of Isolation. Let's look at exactly what happens when we fall into the teacher trap and the learner trap. And this brilliantly illustrates the immediate failures of both extremes back to back. When we strictly isolate these roles, we face two major breakdowns. On one side, the sole teacher, completely cut off from the act of learning, just ends up parroting dead ideas. On the other side, the sole learner, totally isolated from the act of teaching, ends up using information just to solidify their prior judgments. Both sides represent a complete system failure. So let's break down exactly why each of these traps is so detrimental, starting with the teacher. The source makes a really striking point here. If you teach about learning, you are parroting dead ideas from the past that may never have happened in reality. If you view yourself only as a teacher, like if you just stop absorbing, adopting, and allowing yourself to be transformed by new information, you aren't really teaching anymore. You're basically just hitting play on a tape recorder. You're delivering disconnected, static information. Because the world changes, and the people right in front of you change. Teaching without actively learning means your knowledge quickly detaches from reality. It just loses its pulse. Now, on the flip side, we've got the learner trap. If you view yourself exclusively as a learner with absolutely no intention to ever share what you're gathering, you essentially rob the process of its true value. You end up simply compartmentalizing information. It's exactly like hoarding hundreds of unread bookmarks in your browser or buying stacks of books you never ever talk about with anyone. You take these amazing bits of information and you just shove them into neat little mental compartments that do nothing but solidify the judgments you already hold. You essentially just collect data to confirm your own biases, completely missing the transformative point of the knowledge in the first place. Part 3. The symbiotic loop and how we start truly metabolizing information. Let's move forward and see how this builds from a static, sterile exchange into a living, breathing cycle. This isn't just about passing a baton back and forth. It's an organic, almost visceral process. Step 1, you receive the information, but you don't just hoard it. Step 2, you metabolize it. You process it deeply, much like your body processes food for energy. And step 3, you return it in new forms to create even more understanding for the other person. You are fully digesting the knowledge and bringing it back out to the world completely transformed. To actually activate this loop, we have to adopt a whole new mindset, starting with this powerful directive. Teach in order to learn. When you step up to share something, you are forced to pay deep attention to what you're saying. You have to figure out how to put the information together in a way that communicates it clearly. And the real magic? The source points out that by doing this, you actually learn far more than you ever could have if you just sat back and considered yourself a passive learner. The very act of teaching forces you to master the material. And the loop flows perfectly the other way too. Learn in order to teach. When you sit down to absorb new information, do it with the distinct intention of sharing it later. This intention acts as an incredible filter. It completely stops you from just mindlessly compartmentalizing facts to validate your own worldview. It forces you to ask, wait, how am I going to explain this to someone else? How is this actually useful? When you learn with the intention of giving it away, you ensure you never miss the whole point of what's being offered to you. Section 4, the shared gift, where we dive into how growth is completely mutual. So, the crucial point is this: the other's growth is your growth. Literally, this is where the real payoff happens. When you teach from this state of mutual exchange, you are receiving and changing just as fast as the other person is bettering themselves. There's no hierarchy here whatsoever. There's just simultaneous shared expansion. Their aha moment, that becomes your aha moment. Here's the really fascinating twist regarding this exchange. When someone is genuinely open to learning from you, the gift they are offering isn't actually theirs to give. The gift is yours. Their willingness to receive provides you with the unparalleled opportunity to grow, and vice versa. When you are the one learning, you are giving that exact same incredible gift to whoever is teaching you. Let's summarize the ultimate outcome of this symbiotic loop. When you step out of those isolated boxes as just a teacher or just a learner, the system finally works. You metabolize the information. You process it deeply. And most importantly, when you learn to give that gift to another person, the information finally becomes a vibrant, living force that connects you both. Knowing what we know now about this beautiful, symbiotic loop, I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder. Who will you share your learning with today so that you can finally understand it? Seriously, don't hoard your knowledge, and definitely don't teach without listening. Step into the loop and just watch how much you grow. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Now go out there and make your knowledge alive.